Isaiah Napier asks, how do you prevent from falling away from God and staying deeply connected to God after, like, for example, going to a big church worship event type thing?
Isaiah Napier, thank you for the question, man. It looks like what you're trying to describe to me is like this situation. You go on a mission trip, you go and serve some people, and you're living on like a bloody mattress, and you're eating like tiny portion meals, and you're sleeping like no sleep, and you're in another country, another area of the United States or somewhere, and you're on this mission trip, and there's this huge, and you get back from it, there's this huge God high, or maybe you go to like a conference or something, and you like start worshiping, you're hearing oceans, right, and you're hearing like God's not dead, and you're hearing like all these things, and pastors and speakers and conferences, and you're worshiping God, and you're so high, you get your Jesus juice on, right, you take a shot of that Jesus juice, and now you come home, right, and you feeling this high, and that high, that feeling, that energy slowly starts to just like decline and die off and fade out. And what I think by the answer, by the way you're stating the question, I think what that is you're trying to ask me, how do I preserve that feeling when I came from like a conference, camp, mission trip scenario? How do I preserve that feeling of closeness to God? And I'm gonna answer this. I think what you're doing is you're comparing or you're confusing closeness to God and your feelings. And I think that's a dangerous thing to do. I think that's a dangerous comparison to do. And here's why I say this. The difference between a feeling or an experience and commitment. All right? The difference between an experience and a commitment. And here's what I mean by that. In an experience, you have feelings that fill you and that makes you think a certain way, feel a certain way, be attuned to certain different things, in this case God. And so you're on this high, you're on this Jesus juice high. The problem with that is that if you compare that to, if you say that feeling is closeness to God, that means that feelings and closeness to God can quickly disappear. Because if you're anything like me, a feeling can go and come as quickly as like a phone call or a text message. I could be on this like such a like excited high on something like, you know, like a football game. I could, on a football game or a UFC fight, I'm so excited, and then if my guy that I'm rooting for gets knocked out, immediately that feeling of excitement goes down to despair and tragedy. And I think that's what we're doing. We're comparing our feelings to our closest to God. But the thing is, that feeling slowly dies out over time, and it wanes, and it just goes away until you hit another high, and then you're like, oh, Jesus juice again. I need another mission trip or whatever, and that becomes very, very dangerous. Now that is a feeling or an experience, and then there's a commitment. And the difference is between a commitment is that the feelings can come and go, highs and lows, but you're still dedicated to God. And so you could be high on God or low on God, but you're still connected. I think that's the word you use. Connected to God. You are committed, connected still to God. Doesn't matter how you feel. And that's important. And here's why. Is because throughout the Bible, people have felt more closer to God, more farther away God, but they've never lost the relationship with God. I'll give you an example. Pretend like, I don't know about you, but maybe you have a mom or something, and a dad and in your life, or a parent or someone close, like a mom. And so say you grew up and you're best friends with your mom, but then you did something stupid and you ran away from your mom for 10 years and you haven't talked to her, you just didn't talk to her. But then after that you got back together with her and you really like mended things, and then you were still, and then you have that old relationship. During that time, did you feel more or less connected to God? Of course you didn't. I mean, or your mom, sorry. Of course you didn't. It waned. You went through a season and you came back to closer. But the question is, did you stop becoming her child? Did you stop becoming her son and or daughter? And the answer is no. That's the difference. When we are committed to God, and we are connected to God, that means highs and lows don't matter. You are still always connected to God. Your feelings, doesn't matter how your feelings are, you are still God's child. And the great thing about this way of looking at your faith is that when your faith isn't sustained by how you feel in the moment as close or far away to God as you do, because then that way our faith is just some fickle thing that gets passed around by however mood we feel. Our faith, our life source, our identity as children of God is secured, is fashioned, is guaranteed in Jesus Christ.